What's up, my friends? Matt with BAAM Ranch. Thanks for watching. So a couple weeks ago, we discussed beans and rice. Why that's important to store and a little bit on how to store it, but it was kind of just an introductory video. And in that video, I mentioned the other grains to kind of round out your basic food storage. And that would be whole wheat and whole corn, both, dried, obviously. But whole wheat, the type of wheat, hard red winter wheat berries, and the type of corn, just regular old dried feed corn. You don't have to get the special, $100 an ounce version of any of this stuff. Just go to your granary and pick it up in bulk. Buy it by the bushel if you want. Deer corn, I'd kind of stay away from deer corn. It's got a lot of trash in it. It's the bottom of the barrel. I don't know if I would get that if I were you. But anyway, let's discuss some of that. And by the way, if you like these kind of short, car ride videos, I'm going to put all of these in a playlist. I'll probably call it like, quick tips or something. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But anyway, if you like these, go through there, check that out, have a look at it. There's a lot of information, in a kind of short, quick format. But anyway, why do we want these other grains? Well, two reasons. One, the first and foremost is, beans and rice, they're pretty good. They're pretty wholesome, but they don't round out a complete diet very well. You don't actually get a complete diet whenever you add the wheat and the corn, but it's a whole lot better than just beans and rice. And I'm going to tell you right now, it'll help burn out. The other reason is, well, they're comfort foods. While the rest of the world has descended into chaos and is, converted to cannibalism and all this other stuff, y'all have fun with that. Meanwhile, my wife is bringing me a freshly baked cinnamon roll for breakfast. Yeah. So wheat. The hard red winter wheat berries are a lot better for baking, like leavened goods, than though you can store the white wheat. That's fine. Now, with both of these, you will need to buy a grain mill to grind it. Good luck eating just whole dried corn and whole dried wheat. I guess you can boil it or something like that and have some sort of like a gruel. You can do that if you want to. Now, with that being said, you do kind of have to write a check to get a good grain mill. The wheat and the corn themselves are dirt cheap, insanely cheap. And the general consensus is about the best grain mill you can buy that costs less than my daily driver pickup is the one from Country Living. It's still kind of expensive, but if you actually use the thing, which you're going to need to use it because it's a whole lot harder to make bread from ground, self-ground wheat than what you thought. Getting that flour consistency takes some practice. But if you're going to use it, that thing will last, it'll last longer than your grandkids. So it's not really that expensive when you think about it like that. Storage would be the same as, your beans and rice. 5-gallon buckets, Mylar bags, 2,500 cc oxygen absorbers. You can freeze it. There's 1,000 ways to store it. We're not going to get into the specifics of it in this video, but 750 pounds of those grains, those 4 grains, whole wheat, whole corn, beans, and rice, 750 pounds per person per year would provide you with around 3,000 calories per day. And 3,000 calories per day is what will allow you to maintain your body mass and most of your health anyway, under heavy physical exertion. My family, all of them, if they are, a newborn baby, well, not newborn baby because I'm not necessarily going to feed them, but if they're 4 years old or 40 years old, 18 years old, it doesn't matter. They're all military age males as far as food is concerned. Am I overdoing it a little bit? Probably. Well, maybe that means that I'm not going to run out. Maybe that means I'll have plenty. Maybe that means for all these other people that are going to come along, I'll have some extra to cover them. So I don't see that being a losing situation of, planning for the full, 3,000 to 3,200 calories per day. As far as leavening this stuff, yeast is obviously that, yeast and baking powder. It would serve you well to learn how to make sourdough with the potatoes, the starch, the sugar. And most importantly, learn how to actually use this stuff. Learn how to cook with it. You probably need to be storing some flour also. It doesn't store as long as wheat. Make sure it's whole wheat flour that has the wheat germ in it also. And a portion of this wheat can be stored as pasta. Just keep it in a sealed container. Treat it the same way you do everything else. The shelf life of pasta isn't quite as long as the whole wheat, so you're not going to get 30 years out of it. But it's, you can still store it for a pretty good long while. With the corn, there is a process called nixtamalization. And corn has a lot of nutrients in it, but many of them are locked up and undigestible to us in its raw form. Nixtamalization, Nixtama, I'm not going to try to spell it. Nixtamalization. Look that up and learn how to do it. With that being said, most of the corn products that we eat today are not nixtamalized. Nixtamaliz, I think that's the word. I don't know. You might look that up and at least learn how to do it and try it on a small batch of corn. That way you can get the full, niacin and all of those other important nutrients out of that corn as possible. If you're not able to do it, well, eat the corn. Same thing with the Country Living grain meal. If the only thing you can afford is the $49 one on Amazon, that's better than the one you don't have. You're probably going to need to grind it several times. And you can probably make some pretty good cornmeal with that. Get you some tortillas going. I have some tacos, some apocalypse tacos. But regardless of what you do, practice with it. Practice with your whole dried grains and, with your flour, actually learn how to make some bread. You might get online and look up how to make some Olive Garden breadsticks out of whole wheat bread. Learn how to make tortillas. Learn how to make several different types of unleavened bread. Cheez-Its. Learn how to make some Cheez-Its, man. Those are good. But anyway, that kind of rounds that out. Maybe in the next video we can get into the other dried goods such as, milk, sugar. Honey's not a dried good, but I kind of lump it into the same thing because it serves, the long-term storage aspect of it. Dried milk and things of that nature. We'll get into that sometime soon. Well, anyway, until next time, y'all be safe. Put your phone down, get up, and do the things, man. See y'all next time.